Timeless agronomy practices paired with modern technology. East Highway 20 in Orchard and across Nebraska.
Early break.
He brings him in and teaches him how to be Santa Claus.
But what do you do if like a 16-year-old wants to sit on the lap? What do you do? There's a protocol.
Protocol. What do we do? How do we handle it? Not
you
so
stand.
fast.
Yeah.
This is crazy. I'm going to stand up next to you.
This clause would not approve. Right.
Bunch of college girls.
Right. No. Oh, becomes no.
Early break from 6 to 8 every weekday morning on 93.7 The Ticket.
93.7 The Ticket is proud to provide listeners with daily opportunities to win contests and prizes on our airwaves, and would like to take this opportunity to remind you of a couple rules. All participants must be 21 or older and must wait 30 days after winning a prize before participating in another contest. Once you win, you have 30 days to pick up your prize at the K&TK Studios, 1040 O Street in Lincoln, or your prize will be forfeit. Thank you for participating in our contest, and thank you for listening to 93.7 The Ticket.
Tis the season to raise a little Cane with Raising Cane's. Spread joy with craveable chicken finger meals and treat everyone on your nice list to a Cane's gift card or plush puppy, which benefits local pet organizations. Happy holidays from Raising Cane's. One love.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. Live from the 93.7 The Ticket studios in the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Inside the Huddle with Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Fires a pass, and it's intercepted by the Huskers at the 25, Jay Foreman. And Foreman takes it down to the 19-yard line of Oklahoma. Another big play by the Blackshirts.
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. Sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging.
What up? Happy Sunday. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. We are live in effect here on 1040 O Street at the Ticket. I always say it's the mecca of sports radio. Obviously, it's I would say there's not a lot going on in Husker land, but there is. More importantly, obviously, a lot going on in college football. Harrison, we had our first bowl game last night, or a couple yesterday, not last night, but yesterday. The most important thing, or the thing that took the most, this whole last week was the awards week. The awards, it's called I think it's called the banquet circuit. Pretty much steak and lobster circuit for those guys, which is obviously what
the Blitnikoff, Heisman, all that good stuff.
Davey O'Brien.
Yeah.
And obviously if you've not been aware, and also listen, we got. Great Husker, stuff that's going on today and started on Friday with Nebraska having a bounce back performance against Indiana, which is great by Fred Hoiberg and crew, because I don't think they play until next Sunday, which is
they get another long break here.
Scheduling.
The scheduling's been weird for Nebraska. This is the second long big break now, because Michigan State, they had almost a week off.
And then they had 4 or 5 days before St. Mary's, and they only played a couple kind of JV games before that, so they haven't been able to catch their rhythm. But more importantly, we'll just recap. They did a really good job against the Indiana team that's wanted to get some get back. Nebraska beat them now 4 times in a row, but 3 times last year. I felt like Indiana was a big physical team that Nebraska was going to have to deal with. Nebraska's roster is significantly different than, in my opinion, than any one roster that Fred Hoiberg has had.
I say this every year with Hoiberg. It's interesting to me. Hoiberg gets just a completely different team year in, year out.
Well, here's what I agree, but I don't agree. The last 2 years, Rink Mass, I think he's big, but was the only big.
Yeah.
Last year, and then he's always had 2 3-way players. Whether it's Banton. Obviously, we got Bryce. You had, Bryce McGowan. You had guys that could play multiple positions. He likes that positionless basketball. And then I think you had Derek Walker, who turned into kind of like a point center, like a little bit our version of Jokovic.
Really
Joker.
Similar to Rink Mass, which is kind of surprising.
But Rink had a little bit more outside. But Derek Walker he could get downtown on you now.
Yeah,
he could drive
playmaking.
Right.
Tactic.
Right. Yeah. But that was like the the off-speed pitch, and it gave fits to bigs in the Big Ten. But then, when we probably played Texas A&M, I was like, you look out there and you got dudes 6'10", 6'11", that could just, it caused some problems.
Yeah.
Well, then, this season right now, I felt like, and it was probably just based on who was out there, graduation and all that. Then you go 7-1. Burke is 6'9", 6'10", but he's thick.
Uh-huh.
And then you got Gary, and then you got Williams, and then you either got
Worcester's a big body guy too.
Worcester, who's 6'5", and then you got a Season who's not big, but you got a really you got more of a Michigan State, Illinois, Indiana type of roster, and I think the good thing about it is they've been able to do some of the things that they've wanted to always, or what they've always done, but then also have the physicality to where you see, like when we played Kalkbrenner up there at Creighton, you were just you didn't have to trap and double down so hard to create, defensive, your defensive rotations. You're able to double with two big bodies, and it just eliminated him. And now you saw it against Indiana. They were able to be physical when they wanted. They have enough athletic ability and experience out there on the wings with Bryce and Gary and those guys, and obviously Sam Hoiberg and sometimes Jacobson and all those guys that can do it. I think this is a different version. I think the more that they can play, the more rhythm that they'll get, and then they'll be, more consistent. I think that as long as they get some timely 3-point shooting, work that mid-range game in, I think the ability to hit the boards will bode well for them down the stretch. Now, this game against Indiana was significantly different than the one against Michigan State, where at one point in time you were minus 29 on the boards.
Mm-hmm.
They got the get back, and they had Fred said he challenged Bryce and Juwan to be more physical and to be the guys that get started, and you saw that right from the get. Bryce came out and he had 8 points.
Yeah,
and
he was the go-to guy immediately.
And he showed you all facets of his game. He showed you the three. He showed you could get down in the lane, downhill, both hands. Had the high kiss, the left-hander, kind of off the top of the backboard or top of the square. And I think he was able to lead, early and allowed everybody else to kind of settle in and play. And it was a pretty impressive performance.
Yeah, you know how Bryce Williams, that guy's a hooper. He's got that mid-range package.
Well,
the best players always got that. I don't know what it is about that.
But I don't know what it is with these kids these days.
No one ever uses it, and the guys that do are just killing teams with it.
These kids these days, they'll tell you, obviously, recent history, Kobe is the guy, and then it's always the big argument between Kobe, Jordan, Bron, KD, Kyrie, Steph. I mean, we could go on and on. And whoever the new guy is. Shea Gilchrist. Gilchrist, yeah. Him. My man in Sacramento, I like him.
Fox?
Yeah, I like him.
Yeah, he's
right.
He's underrated just because he's over with the Sacramento Kings.
And when he scores 40, you don't hear about it till 6 p.m. the next day.
Well, 2 years ago, he led the Kings to the #1 offense in the NBA.
Yeah.
And he was, the straw that stirred the drink.
Well, I liked him ever since he took Lonzo Ball in the NCAA tournament.
Right, yeah. Where'd Fox play?
Kentucky.
That's right.
Gave him a 40 burger. Oh, you're supposed to be the dude? Oh, let me just show you. Well, and we named off all those guys. I mean, you could throw Paul George and definitely Kawhi in there. Obviously, he's been hurt. Chris Paul. We could go through all the NBA guys, all of them. And these are guys that Devin Booker in there, as well. Bradley Beal.
Yeah,
all
Paul George.
All of them are tops in the 3-point shots. And let's not forget, one of my favorites is Trae Young. Savage. Hey, savage. Don't let a light-skinned brother with good hair. He is a savage. When he rolled the dice at Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, in 2018.
Yeah. No, he just did it just now.
I thought you were talking about the magical playoff run.
Oh, the ice trade, but he did it again. Yeah, he rolled the dice at center court.
He's fun. He just needs to get out of Atlanta. I don't know what it is about the Atlanta Hawks, but man, they had that one. I want to say it was 2018-19, but
they had a good roster, but they faced LeBron, and it was just bad timing. But all the players that we just mentioned, Harrison, every single one of them has mid-range game. Yeah. And here's the funny thing about it. I remember I coached some basketball, and I was trying to tell these kids about, they're worried about 3-point shot. So I just pulled up Klay Thompson, pulled up Steph Curry, pulled up, and then even before that, Steve Kerr. And they all talked about, in order to improve your 3-point shot, you perfect your mid-range shot. And then I said, listen, I said, who's your favorite player? And of course, they went all around, and it was different ones, Jordan, all that. And it was just putting on their highlight tape. One power dribble, pull up. Power dribble, crossover, pull up. Power dribble, step back, pull up. All of it mid-range. Mid-range. Then you go to the 3-point shot. So, but that's like you're, back on task. That's the one thing that you saw from Bryce and everybody else, the mid-range. So that was good. And then later on, and then the next day, then we had the Husker ladies volleyball team handle their business as well. Or actually a little bit later that night, excuse me, against a game Dayton team that's scrappy. And the one thing I liked about it is it wasn't so easy that it was like, for a formality. I think Dayton, and the way that they played they were strategically desperate, that it pushed the Huskers to sharpen that edge competitive wise, but then also show that teamwork and continuity and culture to, put the dagger in the heart. Now they got, when we came in here, you saw Wisconsin over there. So we got to make sure we go over there and turn off the hot water or whatever over there at the embassy. So they got Wisconsin today to get to the Final Four in Louisville. So, look, at Nebraska's, played well against them all year, and expect the same today. And so the Husker news is good.
Well, not just Husker news, like this possibility. And I don't know how you feel about like Creighton for volleyball, but
yes,
could end up with the Final Four where you got
that
Nebraska and Creighton going up against each other
again. And the great thing about it, Creighton beat Texas.
Yeah.
If Creighton I look at Creighton, and I got respect for them. I like, their basketball team, but they are definitely they have the elitist kind of aura about them.
There's something that they got going on.
But on the sneak, though, their volleyball team is gritty on the sneak. And it was really good to see them, beat Texas, and hopefully, both of them pull out, and then we can have some real intense, calls in, and who's a J-Sker and all that stuff. We can really divide the state.
It'll be fun, right? Because I haven't, we have the J-Sker thing with a little bit of baseball, and you don't hear it as much. Basketball is like the real big thing.
Yeah.
Volleyball, that's going to be a new one.
It's going to be a new one
in the volleyball world. What does that look like? Because it's not like they don't have they got a volleyball program, so you really can't be.
And a little bit of with baseball, when Creighton was, and we were struggling, Creighton was doing all. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So hopefully, as expected, both teams represent and end up being able to lock horns. And then the one of the things that that's a positive is that Nebraska had a few players go in the portal. I think it was just announced that Nate Borkature is coming back.
Yep.
It's not like I don't know if you got it. Do they do another graphic that I'm back, or
I don't know. Anymore.
Well, he's coming back, so I think that was look. We've had guys from Emmett, Keona Davis. Obviously Nate was a little bit surprised, but then he was able to come back. So whatever he's able to see who was interested, and then obviously Nebraska. Even Coach Rule said he's welcome back.
Yeah, they must be calling him back quicker. Like, what do you make of that? These guys that are hitting it just like immediately. It's not like they're waiting a few days to see it. It's like they're turning around almost immediately.
Well, I don't think it's immediately.
No,
well,
that's a strong
listen,
word.
Harrison, let's just be honest. There's some people that been in their ear probably for quite some time, and some guys go in, stay in. And we'll talk about the couple guys that found places, landing spots. And then I think with Nate and maybe Keona is that. I guess here, this is just kids in general, right? And I can't speak for them. This is just me, just looking from outside in. I think that instead of going into the coach's office and say, "Hey, look, man, I got 3 schools out looking at me, contacting me. I don't really want to leave. This is what this is the range they're talking about. You know what I mean? I don't want to leave here without doing something. Like, I need a meeting," right. And So then I don't have to go in the portal. I think they go in the portal and then tell you they're in the portal. So it's official. And maybe that's the way you do it. Maybe you feel like
the leverage piece. I don't know.
Yeah. And maybe that's the way you have to do it, because then therefore you don't want to talk to, and I'm just assuming they don't want to risk talking, trying to have a meeting and then a couple of days go by and then they miss their opportunity. So I guess, but then look, when I think Coach Rule, they know, look, man, this is part of the deal. This is the way it's going to be.
Yeah.
It's not, and I know people go crazy of when guys are at Nebraska and they go in the portal. It's just the way it's going to be. And look, there's a multitude of reasons why. Some are told to go in the portal, encouraged to go in the portal. Some decide to go in the portal on their own. Some have people telling them to go in the portal and they shouldn't. People are telling people, or have people tell them to go in the portal and they should. Some people need more reps. Some people just have bad circumstances. Like, it's no different. Like if you just been here, okay, let's take in a basketball front. Let's take Ramel Lloyd. He came in, he had a lot of talent, a lot of potential, got hurt his first year, was rehabbing, redshirted, then got dinged up again. Yep. And then you had emergence of like Sam Hoiberg and those guys while he was hurt. It's just bad. It's just a unique, tricky situation. And that same thing happens in football. It's just like Daniel Kaelin. Like he probably saw, okay, well, probably Dylan's coming back on the, I want to get on the field. I want to get somewhere we're going to play. But I would push back. Like if you believe in the quarterback coach, you believe that Nebraska's going to be better, you're going to get some playing time. If you think you're going to if you haven't played in year one and think you're going to go somewhere and start, not necessarily. If you're going to go somewhere and maybe wait a year and maybe play some next year and get on the field, that's probably a good choice. If you really want to go and slide in the start, you're going to have to go down a level or go down to, FCS or something like that. So those are, big, but then you could always level back up. So there's a multitude of reasons. So it's good to have him back. And then also, I think I saw where Jamari picked LSU and Princewell picked Ole Miss. And then we had, I think James Williams has been Florida State ever since he went in the portal.
Yeah, and Stephon Thompson to Florida State. He's just followed Tony White, which that one, the track record told you he's probably going to follow him with them. But
yeah, and then I saw Mekhi Bear. He was at Missouri. He, at least by his tweet or whatever, and he was at, I'm assuming he's down there at the University of Miami because he tweeted a picture or Instagram a picture, and it was the University of Miami. So he's down there visiting them. So we'll see where he ends up. It's crazy because you just, they always say your market will tell you what your value is. True. But the market sometimes is not indicative of your field value. It's supply and demand.
Well, as I say, sometimes you got to take a look at the market.
Yeah.
Like there's supply and demand.
Well,
I mean, that's just basics 101.
Well, true. And you have to take advantage of it. Like for
105 roster limit cut down. Like you better especially if you're not one of those guys.
Well, you better be smart about it. But I mean, when you look at the draft, right? To be frank, if I would have came out a year before, even though I know I was a better player my senior year, I probably would have got drafted higher because they didn't have as many linebackers that year coming out. Yep. So if you had, so then you automatically look a lot better than I need. So now they're just fitting needs. And so what you have to make sure you do, even though you're getting paid, is you want to get into a situation. Not only are you obviously able to take advantage of the paycheck, so now that's done. And the NIL is there. So if you're out there in gung ho and all you're thinking about is NIL, everybody has NIL. You're going to get paid. So that's like almost like a known. Now you have to make sure you get in the best situation for you to extend that. So if you have 1 year left, you should be thinking about trying to go to get Sunday money, get to the pros. So if you're not going to a situation that's a 100% guaranteed that you're going to get either more snaps, more opportunities, a higher profile, and you're ready to produce, because you're going to have to live up to that paycheck. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If you're not going in that situation, well, then now you are essentially hurting yourself long term. So now you went from one of the players that, okay, I'm getting what maybe I could take advantage of or deserve, to the player that, okay, well, I'm going to have this, and their mindset is, okay, I'm going to go up there. If I never play football again, I got this fallback money. Well, listen, with this 12, 13% inflation, and when you go from like a school that you've been at 3 or 4 years, say 3 years, and you're going to a new place, now you don't have no foundation of where you can go after football. So it's bigger than just say, you know what, hey, Harrison wants you to come down here to University of Kentucky, and he's going to give you a whole bunch of money. You got to start thinking about 5-10 years down the road, because yes, it's a lot of money and you should go get the money. But if it's not significantly different, you have to weigh the whole thing. And then also you have to make sure that you don't increase, at least for me, I can tell you this. I can only speak for myself, Harrison. I will tell you this. I would have to make sure I do not increase my school load. Because listen, if I ain't graduated, I'll tell you, listen, I do not want to go through any more school. I do not want to have to go from, say, Nebraska to, I'm just looking here. Say I went from Nebraska to Houston, and say like my majors are like the credits here. Just say I'm 6 hours away from graduating here, right? So essentially it's like 2 classes, and then you can kind of take basket weaving for the next 6 months, right? Here. I don't want to have to go to another school, Northwestern, because, I was there or whatever. And then all of a sudden now I got 12 more hours or 18 more hours. So those are other things that you have to weigh, the support, which you could possibly get. But ultimately, you got some Nebraska guys that are finding their way. It'd be interesting to see where, the Bellevue West triplets end up and stuff like that. And it sucks. It sucks on both ends, right? For the kids that came here with the hopes and dreams of being everything that they came here for, it sucks for them. It sucks for the team and the coaches, and this, because you've been around these kids for a year at least, so you feel not only obligated to them, that you have to ideally have some sort of relationship with them, and then they're not going to be no longer be on your team, and so you wish them the best. I would definitely say, not have any ill will. It is a business, and these kids are trying to navigate this thing called, business, and without any support. There's some good agents out there. There really is. And there's some bad agents out there. There's some bad runners out there, like, what we used to call them runners. So what, in my experience, is way long ago. So agents they couldn't actively supposedly be on campus recruiting, but sometimes I might run into Harrison, or Harrison might contact me. Now, Harrison, we didn't have cell phones or anything like that, but these agents, the real agents, knew all the scouts, and so they could so we had to fill out a questionnaire: name, address, parents, contact, or whatever, just maybe your name of parents and height, weight, and stuff like that when they come in for a pro day that the spring before. So those agents, that's how they got a hold of you. But Harrison, we didn't have cell phones. We put our pager down, or you had to call our house phone, and then you check your voicemail, and then you call back. So it was not as readily available. Now you have agents and everything that could, I guess, slide in your DMs and all this other stuff. And so that's what they're dealing with now. You start to see some guys starting to make some decisions, because I will tell you this, it's like as fast as you jump in there, you want to be able to jump out. And there's some big names in there that are starting to make, decisions. I don't know if you've seen this here on 24/7 Sports. You got Jackson Arnold, and this is crazy. This is how crazy the portal can be sometimes. Jackson Arnold is essentially part of the reason why Dylan Gabriel, who was up for the Heisman, went to Oregon, right? Because they were forcing him onto the field at Oklahoma. He went into the portal because he got replaced, right? 6 games into the year of this year, right? Brett Venables, this is our guy. This is going to be the next Caleb Williams, so forth and so on. He's in the portal. He's going to Auburn, right? And then we mentioned the 2 Nebraska kids, right? And then you got guys that are, what's funny is like you got a guy you probably never heard of, Skylar Gill Howard, 6'1", 285-pound defensive tackle from Northern Illinois. Yes, they had the one upset victory against Notre Dame. Didn't do much after that, right? He just signed to Texas Tech, and they got that oil money down there, right? Here's another one here. It's funny. It's like and then you'll have like within the SEC, you'll have Jalen Braxton, corner from Arkansas, going to Ole Miss. So would you just dap up with the DB coach after you lost? Hey man, I'll see you in a couple weeks. Cool. You got Jakeem Jackson, who is a somewhat stud corner from Florida going to LSU. And so you just get guys essentially going from one university to other. You got Ethan Hampton. Do you know who he is?
No.
Yeah. Quarterback, Northern Illinois. Guess where he's going? Upgrading. Wake Forest. Right? Then you got the guy right here. This probably is the best pickup. You know who Jacob Ulrich? 0 stars in 24/7. 0 star. Now, is a 6'5", 205. What position do you think he plays?
6'5", 205?
6'5", 205.
Oh man, it's somewhere linebacker. That's a small backer.
No. It's a punter.
Okay.
And guess where he's going? Oklahoma.
Iowa.
Oklahoma. Guess where he was at? Kennesaw State. All right. Then on the other hand, you got big offensive tackle Xavier Gray from Liberty University. He's going to Northwestern. And that's probably about, that's a big upgrade for him. I mean, he's going to Big Ten. He's going from Liberty, right? But that's a big dude, too.
That's the beauty of the portal for the guys who are on the other end of it, that are working their way up.
Yeah.
That are more than, that's part of the portal where you like hearing those stories. It's not, feels, like the death of college football a little bit. It's the guys that have all the stars, have all the talent, that just either just want to change it up, want to go see their girl, don't like the coach anymore, or got a bigger paycheck coming up the other school. That's the part that always feels weird about the entire portal.
Yeah, it is. And it's, look, you got some really good players out there. You got like Nick Anderson, who's a receiver. He's out there. You got Dane Key, who was here, was here with from Kentucky. Hopefully we can get him. You got Deuce Robinson, who we saw up close and personal out there at USC, who's like 6'7". You got Eric Singleton. I don't know if you remember seeing him, how he diced up Florida State over there in Ireland. It seemed like, and it's weird because it's not like he's not featured, right? So now he's probably thinking, okay, I'm in the ACC at Georgia Tech. I'm going to try to level up to Alabama or Georgia. Now there's two, especially at Georgia, because they had a receiver group that couldn't catch a cold.
Yeah.
That dude can catch.
Carson Beck, unfortunately, took a lot of the heat from that, but wide receiver core that year was not doing a lot of favors.
Right. And but you got to think that's where there's a market where he's like, okay, I'm going to go. And we, what's the guy from Gibbs? That's the same thing he did. He was at Georgia Tech. Nick Saban needed a running back of his caliber, goes to Alabama, ends up being a first-round pick, and he is a weapon up in Detroit. So it can happen.
Well, we're Sam Levitt, Michigan State now, because he's having a hell of a year.
He's at Arizona State.
That's right. Arizona. He's in the college football playoffs.
And here's also an example, though, and this is maybe where Daniel Kalen's thinking. He didn't play much or at all year.
No, we were thinking about it as one of the portal guys.
Right.
Because he showed a little bit of the promise, but it wasn't a lot.
Against us.
Yeah.
And this is where we talked about on Inside the Huddle after that game, which was so frustrating, where the mindset has to be when you go to Michigan State. They fired, or Mel Tucker was obviously fired.
Yeah.
The athletic director said, listen, no coaches are coming back under any circumstances. He did. Did you remember that? He said, listen, don't even interview. All you guys are released, right? And remember, the interim coach was a longtime Michigan State coach from Mike D'Antonio, that was with him his whole tenure and was with Mel Tucker. So if there's anybody that thinks it's going to be a holdover, this guy's been coaching here for 15 years and was well respected in the community of Michigan State. He said, listen, you are not going to be here either, right? The reason why it's important, that's where Levitt came out there, and he was a highly recruited 4-star quarterback.
Yeah, he was a 4-star.
But I remember the frustration I had is like when you go into a game, if I was a player and say we're defensive back, I'll be like, Harrison, this dude ain't going to throw for first downs. Everything he's going to try to do is going to be to try to showcase what he can do. So so instead of throwing a 3-yard flat route, he's going to try to hit the 7 cut for 15 yards. So if it's the middle of the field and it's a stutter and go, he's not going to take the easy first down. He's trying for touchdowns.
So you're just not going to give him his rhythm.
No,
the mindset
your mindset has to be everything. Be ready for everything deep. Get your hamstrings loose, ankles right, and everything because he's going to try. And he hit a couple.
Uh-huh.
He parlayed that into going into the portal, and he went down to Arizona State with minimal tape, with a team that needed a competition. And you got to think, not only did they get him, they brought Jeff Sims down there.
Yep.
He beat out Jeff Sims, and now they're in the college football playoffs with a bye. So it can't happen. And then also, before we go to break, the biggest news that we got as far as our gets, obviously with Nate Borkicher coming back, Keona Davis, and Emmett Johnson, was Williams Warneri, the 5-star defensive end edge from Missouri, who Nebraska finished second in his initial recruiting. Played down in Missouri, only played like 50 snaps, 2 games, went in the portal. Nebraska was able to get a quick commit from him. Essentially, he went into the portal, and then there's a do not contact thing. So you knew Nebraska was pretty much just having to get over the finish line. Big get, 6'7", 255, 260. Listen, you know what those are called? Those are called high booty spats defensive ends. You know what that means?
No.
It means you're in the track stance. You ever seen track guys?
Yeah.
The booty's high. You want your shoes spatted up. You let them go kill the quarterback.
Randy Gregory fitting that.
Yeah, this dude. Yeah, like that. High booty spat.
Mm-hmm.
So also a little background on him. The state of Missouri changed the rules for high school kids to get paid with NIL, so he could get paid in college. He probably got paid. So he got to live up to it. But anyways, we'll take a quick break. Come back. We'll talk about the Heisman. We'll talk about if Harrison liked it, if I liked it. I think the right guy won, but it was also an interesting group because I think there was one guy omitted, and I wonder if it was personal or professional. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle. We'll be right back.
It's $5.99 barbecue time. Hurry to Hog Wild for a complete barbecue meal that's only $5.99. Get a one-meat sandwich loaded with our award-winning barbecue, plus your choice of a classic side and drink for just $5.99. Upgrade your sandwich to beef brisket for just $1 more. Join us for lunch or dinner in Lincoln at 3210 Cornhusker Highway. Order online at GoHogWild.com.
But don't be late, we close at 8.
At Parkview Animal Hospital in Lincoln, it's not just a professional care that sets them apart, but their warm staff and state-of-the-art facilities. Whether it's for a routine checkup or a comprehensive medical procedure, at Parkview, your pet isn't just another number, but a valued member of their caring family. Visit them at pahlincoln.com today and in person just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road. Parkview Animal Hospital, your pet, our passion. For happier, healthier furry friends.
The Huskers are headed to the Pinstripe Bowl. Cheer on the Huskers in New York City on the official Husker Pinstripe Bowl tour offered by the Nebraska Alumni Association. Your bowl package includes a 2-night hotel stay, round-trip transportation on game day, pregame events, and more. Spots are limited, so book your spot now on the official Husker Pinstripe Bowl tour with the Nebraska Alumni Association. Go to HuskerFanTravel.com or call 888-831-0858. That's 888-831-0858 or HuskerFanTravel.com.
Nebraska's Christmas Light Show is back and bigger than ever. The Magical Lights of Lincoln Christmas Show runs from Black Friday through New Year's Eve at Sandhills Global Event Center. Bring the family for a show they'll never forget, featuring over 1.5 million lights. Cost is $25 per vehicle from Monday through Thursday, $30 on Friday and Saturday, and also $30 on Christmas Eve and day. Purchase your tickets online today at ChristmasLightsInLincoln.com and get ready to experience a drive-through light show like you've never seen before.
Why are some people more successful? Is it talent and determination, or did they recognize an opportunity? Discover a career that lets you help families reach their financial goals as you build lasting professional relationships, one with unlimited income potential. From Modern Woodman, a leading fraternal financial services provider.
I'm Modern Woodman Regional Director Sean Erickson. Call me at 402-483-6515 to learn about career opportunities.
Modern Woodman of America, touching lives, securing futures.
Dreaming of a green Christmas this year? Make it a reality with Acres. We're offering 0% for 60 months financing on most new John Deere compact tractors, Gator UTVs, and mowers. From moving snow to landscaping the perfect yard, John Deere equipment turns chores into child's play. Visit your local Acres store to start shopping today. Act now. These incentives expire December 31st, 2024. Financing requirements approved credit with John Deere Financial. Some restrictions may apply.
Davis Plumbing is a locally owned company specializing in a wide range of plumbing services for both commercial and residential customers. Davis Plumbing has been in business for over 15 years and has a team of experienced plumbers ready to help you with any project, big or small. Customer satisfaction and peace of mind is their number one priority. So for any commercial or residential project, give Davis Plumbing a call today at 402-525-6922. Davis Plumbing, locally owned and operated for over 15 years.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
Attention all wing fans! Buffalo Wings and Rings has daily specials that will make you want to stop in on all days of the week. Kids eat free on Mondays, and on Tuesdays, enjoy 89-cent boneless or traditional wings at a price that makes the whole family happy. And come back on Wednesdays for $1.29 chicken tenders all day long. Get to Wings and Rings today at 68th and O or in Williamsburg Village. This holiday season, grab the gift that everyone is hoping to open on Christmas morning and savor for as long as possible. Fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Beatrice Bakery offers their traditional fruitcake, their signature liqueur cakes infused with rum, brandy, or other liqueurs, and now Beatrice Bakery has nut-free options. Visit grandmasbakeshop.com to place your order now. They'll ship anywhere in the world. Happy holidays from Beatrice Bakery. If you're in Seward or Milford, listen up. Select Plumbing is now servicing your area with no trip charges from Lincoln. Select Plumbing works on a variety of issues for your home and business, including general plumbing, water heaters, faucet and fixture repair, underground sewer and water repairs, backflow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate, 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Back to Inside the Huddle, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging. Here is your host, Jay Foreman.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman. Inside the Huddle brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging, 7601 Pioneers Boulevard. It will take care of all your imaging needs and obviously put forth a clear path to some pain relief, but then also they do some pretty cool things of breast cancer awareness, pre-screening, stuff with concussions for athletes out there. Then also they've added a couple new things as far as body comp for athletes and adults and of all walks of life. So anyways, we were talking about the portal, and Harrison told me during the break that before this year, before the 105 became a foregone conclusion, I think this is funny, is like you hear about the 105 about a year and a half ago, and you're like, oh, 3 years away. Nope, 3 months. And so now that changed the landscape of college football, because the portal, which is obviously is very appealing to, let's say, the 5%. The 5% is the guys that we mentioned, right? That are going to go in the portal and have guaranteed 2 or 3 places to go, and they'll end up going places. And they could probably go in the portal next year and have places to go. 95% or higher percent of the people that are in the portal don't go to the places they originally think that they should or could go. Maybe have misconception of their talent and opportunity. But then there's another high percentage of portal people that go in there that don't end up going anywhere, either walk away from the game, and more importantly, they walk away from their education and opportunity to build a life after football. That doesn't get talked about enough. There needs to be, whether it's 30 for 30s, 20 for 20, 60 minutes shows. You could go week long of stories of the great things about the portal and majority of the time the downfall, and where people can be really, really misguided. And that's where, we talked about, I don't know if you heard the Colorado State coach said that, about this, the snakes out there that are, giving these kids bad advice. And and they're trying to just make 15-20% off.
Yeah, what's that agent's commission rate?
It's 15 to 20%.
Yeah, which is
crazy.
Outrageous.
In the NFL, the flat rate is 3%. So for me, it's 3%.
And they're really doing work. I might.
Yeah,
the college is doing some work, but there's a lot of
these
schools
guys out here.
to go find
These guys out here aren't doing work. Because if I'm asking you, they either know, or you go in the portal and they're just taking calls, and then when they go on visits, or if I was your agent, they know they're going to have to pay Harrison NIL. Yeah. I'm just taking 15% is a lot of money.
That part to me is kind of gross. I hate that entire part of this whole NIL.
Here's what's also funny. Here's what people aren't telling you. And this is why some of these guys are snakes. And I think if I'm Nebraska or anybody, I'm trying to bring in some people that have real world experience. So if somebody, like myself or somebody like that can help them kind of like, yeah, okay, you're paying this dude 15. Just say you're paying him 15%. And say you get him, hold on, Harrison, listen to me here. Say you're paying him 15%. Say you get $1 million, 150 gone to this dude that just probably picked up a couple. You signed a contract, made a couple phone calls. 150 is the grant to him. Okay,
it's 15% before taxes. So
that's what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Now here comes Uncle Sam. Depending on where you go, it's 40%. 55% of your money is gone. So now, instead of thinking that you get, you just say you thought you maybe were going to take home $600,000. Now you're at $450,000. That's $200,000 gone over this Yahoo. And so that's the problem. That's a high percent, and it's unregulated.
Yeah, and this Yahoo got you to transfer over to USC, and you're paying those Cali taxes on top of everything else.
Yeah. And to go get a cheeseburger is $8.
Yeah, and you realize, man, maybe the $500,000 I could have made at Nebraska would have took me further.
Right, and you would have, and they know you, and you could build up a brand here, and then you know what, you build up a brand here, and you probably play the same amount of football,
and more likely to get the degree, which is just getting lost in all of this, which I still think is really important. It's just one injury away for anybody.
It's not just a degree; it's the connection.
Yeah,
it's what you can do. It's the alumni and all those other things that everybody's turning their nose up. I think sometimes it's a multitude of things, and we'll continue along talking about this. I think sometimes when you have it so good, you think it's good, this good everywhere, and you can turn your nose up because I've had it like this all the time. And sure, some kids might want a change of scenery. Some kids might be pushed in there because maybe always being looked over, and a coach isn't going to play you.
Sometimes those are fair.
And those are fair. Listen,
I
know I've played for coach. I played for a coach that didn't want me to play. Here's what I knew. I just played so good that I know the defensive coordinator override that. And I know, and it wasn't just me. It was Farley as well. There's no reason.
Farley probably said something.
No, he didn't. He was from JUCO, was looked down upon. We had been winning, and then Farley had kept making plays, and it took him 6 games to put the dude in. And he ended up being All-American.
Yeah, I didn't know it took that long for Farley. 6 games, okay.
Yeah. And I sat there and watched it. What are you doing? I mean, every time I turn around, we're making plays, and he's making plays, and he's getting touched. So it does happen. And those are very unique situations. But that 15, 20% and what's happening is not probably what these guys are thinking about. They're just looking at the big number. You got to understand what's in it, and is it worth it? Is there always a risk? Now, the risk sometimes is not a risk because they told you we don't have a spot for you. Then you have to do what you have to do, right? And so that's just where not only Nebraska's at. There's a plethora of schools out here that'll be like that. But with the 105 now, with everybody being on scholarship, and with them assuming the walk-on programs are gone, there's going to be a lot of kids that, number one, aren't ever going to play football again. Because it's not just, there's an opportunity for them to go down, which then is a trickle-down effect, which is slowing down the recruiting process of high school kids going to Division II or FCS schools because they're waiting for the fallout. But then there's that small percentage of guys that just would never decide, I'm not going to play anymore. Well, then when you decide not to play anymore, well, then therefore, now you're going to have to start playing for school or paying for your school. And so the education piece is gone. Well, then the structure piece is gone. And that's the biggest thing for any football player, whether you stop playing in high school or your last game is in college, or in my case, your last game was at the highest level of the pros. The thing is, just say my last game was yesterday in college, that bowl game, and then I end up not playing. Well, then immediately come Monday, you have no structure, none. Right. And then, and the reason why you just don't. And so what you need is what Nebraska does a really good job at is life skills, alumni will be able to call upon and maybe advise or help. And people like, if you want to get into engineering, I'm sure they know some engineers to get you an internship and get you, your foot in the door or banking or whatever. You have that network of people and opportunities based on past alumni and good relations. And that's also something that you can't put a price tag on. And that's what these kids aren't being told or advised by these like agents that are taking their 15%.
Yeah.
And that 15%, that's every single year. That's not a one-time hit. So if you go to, I'm looking right here. Say you go to Syracuse and you sign for 3 years. They say 3 years, you're paying this dude $450,000 if you get paid that $3 million and did absolutely probably nothing. He didn't even work 450 minutes for you. Because you're not going out there. So just say, for instance, right? Let's just look at this real quick, and then we'll dive into the Heisman. Definitely in the last segment here. But let's just say you're a top 20 guy, right, in this portal, right? We'll just go from number 20. So let's take somebody like, okay, we'll take my man Jaheim Otis, right? The emphasis on finding big, athletic defensive lineman is a premium. So you're going to pay. So he's number 11 here. So Jaheim Otis. So he's at Alabama and he signs with Colorado. I didn't work 450 minutes for that. I didn't. He entered. Okay. He entered October 7th. He knew where he was going and he committed the 9th. So he knew where he was going.
Yeah.
So how many minutes you think I worked for that 15%? 15 minutes.
Yeah, I was going to say just
That's
enough for unless you had to maybe tack on 5 more minutes because the printer ran out of
right.
paper.
Yeah. They do everything PDF screenshot.
Yeah, right.
Sign it. You're in there. I mean, when you think about it, though, right? So that's where I think it's. And I'm not hating on anybody trying to get their money.
No, there's good agents out there.
There's good
the
agents
ones that on top of that, they'll also have they'll keep working with you, and then they'll sneak in a little bit of invisible ink on there as well when you make it to the NFL.
Right.
I'll take a 10% all your lifetime when it's there, or even 1%, because that stuff just adds up and it gets lost.
Or God forbid that you have an agent that for this kid, say he, fronted him some money supposedly for signing with him. Well, they tacked on 30% of that as a quote unquote loan, and now you're really upset because number one, you don't have anybody to read the small print, and number two, they're telling you one thing and they're actually making you sign another. So it's definitely a different situation. And then also you have to be a little bit wary of this. There's Deshaun Womack, right? Defensive end. This is how funny it is. He leaves it. He went in from LSU. He signs with Ole Miss. Princewell did there. So it's either that's their 2 starting defensive ends next year, or somebody's going to be butt out, right, and not playing as much. And then obviously that's where Jamari Butler is able to go to LSU and do some things. So we got a couple minutes here. We had the Heisman, and we'll dive into it on the short segment here. And I think this might be the last Saturday though, Harrison, in 2024 that we're doing Inside the Huddle. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Husker football. It's weird. We haven't been able to do Inside Huddle with the bowl game on the horizon. So
no, we'll do it next week because that's be bowl week. So
yeah,
that will be the last one. But anyways, I had the Heisman last night. I didn't even think it should have been that close. I mean, Travis Hunter is by far the best player, and he's put up the numbers, and he's dominated every single game.
Yeah,
I like Ashton. I think he's a great player, without a doubt. And any other year, I probably think he should win. Travis Hunter factor.
Yeah, it sucks. You had 2 Heismans this year. Unfortunately, the one Heisman was Travis Hunter.
Yeah, and he literally was the Heisman.
Yeah.
He's reset the idea of it. Second defensive player to win the Heisman since Charles Woodson, which I would probably argue that Randy Moss should have won that year. Kind of would have set forth the path for Ashton to win it this year. Randy Moss is at Marshall, the smaller school guy winning because Randy Moss. Listen, I mean, look, it's Randy Moss and Charles Woodson. I mean, I'm never, juggling it. And then also think House of Spears and Dominican Sue got second. I would like to see him get the
Didn't he get like fourth?
Did he get? I thought he got second.
Nah, like he got.
Oh, he got no. That's right.
Really bad.
That's right. He made the top 5, so I stand corrected.
Yeah, he got led number 4.
Yeah, that's right.
Which is crazy.
That's what it was. It was a big deal for him to be there. That's right. But I thought he should have got second. But anyways, big shout out to Travis Hunter. Congratulations to him. Nobody that didn't win it should ever, to get there is a big deal.
Yeah.
I will say this: the omitting Shedeur Sanders is a travesty as well. It's almost like you're holding the fact that Travis Hunter is on his team against Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders had record-breaking year this year.
Mm-hmm.
He was great last year, was phenomenal this year. But he'll probably end up going number 1, and he probably won't think twice about it. But ultimately, the right guy won, or at least in my opinion. It was a close vote, so that lets you know any other year Ashton probably would have won and could have won. But either ways, that was over. We're going to take a quick break, come back, Harrison. We're going to talk about Marshall.
We are.
I mean, if you haven't heard, Marshall didn't re-up with their coach. They literally made him a lame duck coach. He goes 11-3, or was it 11 and 1? Was 11 and 2?
I can't remember. I think they only lost a couple.
Or
games.
10-3 because they went right, and makes a bowl game, and they don't. He takes Southern Miss's job because that's the only job he could take. The whole team says I'm in the portal. Marshall had to opt out. They lose money. Louisiana Tech comes in. We're going to talk about it a little bit. Jay Foreman inside the huddle. We'll be right back.
Get rid of pesky critters once and for all with Bats to Rats. Their expert team is here to help you reclaim your home. No more sleepless nights caused by crawling critters or flapping wings. Bats to Rats ensures a safe environment for every family member. Check the website at batstoRats.com for amazing offers. And if you mention this ad, you'll receive $10 off your initial inspection cost. Call Bats to Rats today at 402-781-8691. That's 402-781-8691. Bats to Rats.
Your home is your empire. Protect it with Empire Fence. Get a free instant quote with the online estimating tool at empire-fence.com. See an upfront estimate with no hidden fees. An Empire Fence can provide privacy and improve the appearance of your home. Keep kids and pets in or out of your yard. Increase security and add value to your property. Visit empire-fence.com now to view the stylish and maintenance-free possibilities for your home and get a free instant online quote. Let Empire Fence protect your empire.
When you were a kid, clubs were cool. Robotics club and space club and stuff like that. But what do adults get? Book clubs and quilting clubs? Nah, forget that. How about margarita clubs and old-fashioned clubs? Get to Upside Bar and Lounge for the best clubs in town. Try all 10 varieties of Upside margaritas or old fashions and take home a free souvenir glass. Grab the whole crew and pair it with taco night on Mondays or whiskey Wednesdays. Upside Bar and Lounge at 29th and Pine Lake.
Have you been accused of a crime and don't know where to turn? At Liberty Law Group, we understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you're up against the legal system, you need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. Liberty Law's experienced trial attorneys are committed to the defense of liberty for those accused. Don't let a criminal charge ruin your life. Call Liberty Law Group at 877-42-LIBERTY. Advocates you need, trial attorneys you can trust. That's 877-42-LIBERTY.
At Midwest Bank, they want to thank all the generous donors who helped make their 2024 Turkey Drive for Schools a success. Thanks to the generosity, they raised enough money to provide 153 families across 6 different schools in Lincoln with a full Thanksgiving meal. With your support, they made Thanksgiving Day for those families a little brighter. They want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. Your community, your bank. Midwest Bank. Member FDIC. As a proud member of the Roofing and Solar Reform Alliance, Coalition Restoration stands out by providing thorough property assessments, personalized customer service, and top-notch craftsmanship. With years of experience in the industry, Coalition Restoration has built a notable reputation for having a team filled with skilled professionals and possessing the expertise to handle any roofing project, big or small. Visit their website today for a free roof assessment at www.coalitionrestoration.com or give them a call at 402-607-8186. This holiday season, grab the gift that everyone is hoping to open on Christmas morning and savor for as long as possible. Fruitcake from Beatrice Bakery. Beatrice Bakery offers their traditional fruitcake, their signature liqueur cakes infused with rum, brandy, or other liqueurs, and now Beatrice Bakery has nut-free options. Visit grandmasbakeshop.com to place your order now. They'll ship anywhere in the world. Happy holidays from Beatrice Bakery.
Hey guys, it's Nick. You know how much I love beer, and this game day, show your Husker pride with Dear Old Nebraska Brew, the official beer of the Nebraska Alumni Association. Brewed by Nebraska fans, for Nebraska fans, Dear Old Nebraska Brew is your go-to for every kickoff, touchdown, and celebration. Whether it's tailgating, watching the game at home, or gathering with friends, this beer is there to bring that perfect game day refreshment. Dear Old Nebraska Brew embodies the spirit of Nebraska with every sip. So crack one open and let the good times roll. Dear Old Nebraska Brew, the official beer of Nebraska alumni. Please drink responsibly.
You never think cancer will happen to you. I smoked for over 40 years. My doctor recommended that I get annual lung cancer screening. They were able to catch my cancer at stage 1. It's never too late to quit. Even if you're still smoking, you need to ask your doctor about annual lung cancer screening. Just 30 minutes a year could save your life.
Call the Nebraska Tobacco Quit Line, 1-800-QUIT-NOW, 1-800-784-8669. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
At Fairway Meat Market, your family. And as part of the family, they want to save you money on your meat and groceries. Now, through December 15th, enjoy thick-cut Iowa pork chops for $1.99 per pound. Boneless beef crock-pot roast for $4.99 per pound. Plus, they're now taking orders for prime rib, filet mignon, and other holiday items. And don't forget the $50 holiday box now through Christmas. Always a great gift. That's all at Fairway Meat Market in the Rockledge Square Shopping Center just south of 84th and Van Dorn.
You're listening to Inside the Huddle with Jay Foreman, sponsored by Advanced Medical Imaging.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman. Inside the Huddle brought to you by Advanced Medical Imaging. Quick segment here. Obviously, if you have not heard the news, Marshall has had to opt out of their bowl game. They had a great year this year. They were not picked to be very good this year. Probably why their coach, Coach Health, did not have a contract offer or a legit contract offer prior to the season. Well, then Charles Huff, who was their coach, proceeded to exceed expectations. They won the Sun Belt this year, and they won the Sun Belt Championship as well. So they had a really good year. They were going to play Army in the bowl game December 28th. They were going to face off against Army in Shreveport, Louisiana, in the bowl game. And he decided to take the head coaching job at Southern Miss because he wasn't able to reach to agreement with the Marshall herd or University of Marshall. Now, I will tell you this: at this point, when once he started to win, there was no negotiating, because if his agent probably knew Southern Miss was probably interested in him, or other schools as well. So he's like, I ain't coming back. So any offer that they made that wasn't significantly higher than what Marshall was coming with later on in the season was never something that was going to get any, true traction. And you got to think Marshall, from a preseason rank, they were supposed to finish second last in their conference, and obviously won it. And then they were going to play in the Independence Bowl, which is the Independence Bowl, Harrison, has been played since I was a kid. And so it's down to Shreveport against the Army. Louisiana Tech gets the call to step in. And the reason why, as of Saturday, 36 players went into the portal, 29 scholarship players, 17 players on the team's two deep from the Sun Belt Championship game, including their starting quarterback in Sun Belt newcomer of the year.
And their backup.
All three quarterbacks, so you wouldn't have had a chance. No. And then also Mike Green, declared for the NFL draft, and he was Sun Belt Player of the Year. So essentially, and then also, even though they quickly hired North Carolina State's defensive coordinator Tony Gibson, congratulations, you are now witnessing the 2024-25 version of the death penalty, because you have absolutely no players.
It's like getting keys to a car, but there's no wheels.
It's what it is. You ever see people driving up and down O Street that have the bodies of the Ferraris or whatever, and it has the engine of a Toyota Corolla?
Yeah,
that's exactly what you got. Hey, this is a great deal. This is a $100,000 car. I like you so much. I want to sell it to you for 10.
Yeah.
And you have a Ferrari body, Toyota Corolla engine.
Yeah,
That's exactly
4-cylinder engine.
Yeah. and more importantly is this for a school like Marshall, right? Actually a pretty dang good football school.
Yeah.
You got to think from Chad Pennington, Byron Leftwich, Randy Moss, and a host of other players that played there and been successful there, put them on the map. That bowl money is huge. So now they have to opt out of the bowl. Louisiana Tech gets the bowl money or majority of the bowl money. And also it's a black eye on the athletic department and the people negotiating. Even if they tried to negotiate in good faith, the optics of it doesn't look good.
Yeah, if you're a head coach, you're looking at Marshall being like, probably not on top of the list for you, looking at how they just handled their last coach.
Yeah, in the future. Now they do have a coach, but he has an uphill battle to climb to be successful because he has to essentially, in a small school, you have to hope that you hit on all the portal guys. And if he has I would probably try to get a 7-year contract if I was him, 8-year contract, because I'm going to need leading. I would literally try to just get a whole bunch of high school players and develop them and get some portal guys, but just say, listen, I don't have any players.
That Bost-Mania approach.
Yeah. Well, you have no choice.
Yeah.
You have no choice. So anyways, appreciate you listening. Once again, congratulations to Travis Hunter on the Heisman, but then more importantly, make sure you tune in, I think at 3 p.m. to watch the Huskers beat the brakes off the Badgers and get to Louisville. Jay Foreman, Inside the Huddle, Advanced Medical Imaging. We'll holler at you next week.